This show has been made possible with the continued support of the Gym Partners Affiliate Program, with 7 casino brands in markets all over the world.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to APCW Perspectives. I'm Jay Todd, and this is Gary Trask. How you doing, Gary?
Doing great, Jay Todd. Good to see you again, as always.
Always good to see you. We were talking before we came on about how we can't mess up. It has to be a perfect show because I personally never screw up. There's no bloopers at the end. And by the way, I want to say thank you for dressing so flashy today. I mean, I'm standing next to you.
I'm just...
I've got a couple of, it runs off two,
with Elvis.
it works off 2 9-volt batteries that you can't see. So, yeah, but I like you wearing your name tags. Everybody knows who you are. I don't have to put that down there. And this year, Michael Korfman spared no expense. And we've got the whole big Casino City logo behind us. We're going to talk about this show in just a moment. And it was a fantastic show. It was just jam-packed. But up first, let's take care of some business. We thought the Gambling Act review was dead, but just in time for Halloween, the suckers like Jason, it just keeps getting up and coming back after us. What the hell, man?
I don't know. I've been watching APCW Perspectives every week, and you've been telling me that it's over, and I was kind of happy about that. I think we all were. And from a deadline, from the GPWA magazine deadline, I was hoping that we weren't going to get the review and then already go to press. Well, guess what? That's going to happen. We went to press on the latest issue the other day, and now it looks like we're going to have a review. So, thank you.
Well, yeah, and thank you for throwing me under the bus right there with all my...
That's where I get my news.
Stop it. Just stop it. You don't get your news just from me, but that's okay, because I'm getting my news from you. So we're caught in this vicious circle of news. But here's the thing. I caught up with... Michael, is it Duggar or Dewar? Okay, I want to make sure I pronounce the gentleman's name right. Very nice guy, head of the Betting and Gaming Council. He was here, and I walked up to him after the session because I wasn't able to contact him before the show. I didn't want to ambush him, but I kind of did. And I was asking him if he would go on camera with us and talk about it. And of course, it's a very politically charged situation. So he can't really just come out and comment. He has to go through, all of their quality checks to make sure they're saying. But he did say that if I followed up with him, there was a good possibility that perhaps next week or the week after that he would come and do a Zoom call with us. Yeah, so that'll give you something for editorial.
Absolutely. I look forward to that interview. Doing my job for me. Thank you.
Yeah. You just get the transcript and upload it and tell Michael you're done. But, I think in one of the sessions, he had said that he expected the Gambling Act review to be released by Christmas, but there are people who think that it's going to be much, much sooner than that, yes?
Just from what we've read and heard about this thing for the last,
Year, at least.
At least a year, yeah. I would say I'd be surprised if it was before Christmas, wouldn't you?
Man, they just keep, it's like Pandora's box. You open it and just a bunch of shit keeps coming out.
Right. It's kind of like I'm from Massachusetts, up in Boston, and waiting for the sports betting to launch. It's like something new keeps delaying it, and so maybe this is going to be the case for this. At this point, I just hope they get it over with, and let's move on with it and see what it's all about.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the new prime minister, with her growth plan and wanting less regulation, how they handle the Gambling Act review, and perhaps it'll be neutered a little bit. I don't know. But the other interesting topic here at the show this year was illegal gambling websites. I was interviewing the American Gaming Association about it, and we will be sharing that via APCW channels at some point in the very near future. But they are starting to get aggressive towards these illegal sites, which I totally understand. They have a lot of money invested, and they have a lot of their members are losing money to offshore sites. So we understand the predicament. But what was interesting is during the interview, I actually said, hey, the traditional concept for most people in online gambling is when you hear of an illegal site, is to think of somebody in a third world country that has this license that no one's ever heard of and is going into markets where they're unregulated and shouldn't be there. And part of that's true, but for the American Gaming Association, it could be a perfectly reputable site in the UK or in the EU that is operating legally and has a license, but they don't have a license to operate here. And I found that quite enlightening.
Yeah, and I mean, even to think about just the different states here in the U.S. that have, you could be doing something completely legal in one state, and you could go to another state, and like you said, you could be considered illegal. So that gets confusing.
It does, and when we were clarifying on that, the interesting aspect of that is that we then took it beyond that and said, well, if they're going to be marketing, there have been things that happened in the UK where affiliates were marketing by tweets or text or on Facebook, and they ran afoul of the Advertising Standards Authority, and the operator got in trouble and the affiliate got in trouble, and they had interesting comments, which you'll have to wait and see, to say about affiliates getting, I mean, God forbid an affiliate gets in trouble, because that reflects badly on the program, and it could end up reflecting badly on the industry and any memberships that they're involved in, you know?
I agree. And going back to the illegal sites, I mean, there's the obviously the iGaming casino games. There's also the sports betting sites, the offshore sports betting. And people say, oh, now that it's regulated here in the U.S., that the bookies, or the paperheads as they're called, are going to go away, and they're not. They're not going away, and the sportsbook operators need to do a better job of not limiting winning players. I mean, we had DraftKings Jason Robbins talk recently about how they don't want winning players so if you're a winning player and you're going to get limited to a $20 bet at DraftKings, where else are you going to go? You're going to go here, circa in Las Vegas, where they'll take a big bet, but you're also going to go offshore, and you don't have to post up money. So those operators have to think like that. And when you're giving odds that are not fair, with high VIGs, that's where the offshore sports betting operators or sports betting sites are going to continue to flourish.
It is really, they say it takes a kingdom or a city. What's the old expression? It takes a village, yes. And we're really kind of in that situation now. It's not just the operators, it's not just the regulators, it's not just the affiliates, it's not just the players. It's the entire industry. And what an interesting time to be an affiliate and to be working in this. Well, time will tell. We're going to be releasing those interviews hopefully over the next few weeks, and I'm betting they'll be out before the review of the Gambling Act.
That's a safe bet. I'll take that bet. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what we've seen at this year's Global Gaming Expo. Okay, you don't want this on the air, do you? Michael's not watching this part. Go ahead. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. We're working hard here, man. This is hard work. Yeah. Have you swallowed? Okay, good. It's down. Well, this show was not just about. Stay with me, man. The show was not just about the what's going on in Europe, the UK, and the Gambling Act and the illegal stuff. There was also some stuff here for affiliates, and if I look at my notes, oh yes, we were talking about how sports betting was kind of encouraging. Perhaps you were in a session where there's some consideration of moving into iGaming, and how they're seeing that perhaps that's even going to be more profitable.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 6 states here in the U.S. right now with iGaming, and I think the operators are seeing how lucrative that can be. So there's going to be a big push, it sounds like, in the coming years to try to get iGaming up and running, as long as the states allow it. And yeah, I mean, it's a much more lucrative market for the operators. DraftKings with the Golden Nugget online, that they're diving into it. So I think that's going to be a trend coming up in the next couple of years for sure.
Well, I've always said that sports betting will be a catalyst into online gambling because, the semantics of it is that it's sports betting and poker and online casino games and whatever. But in reality, the regulation of online sports betting on a mobile app especially is the regulation of online gambling. If you can do one, you can do the other.
Yeah, for sure. And there's always a debate about what kind of crossover there is between sports bettors and people who play like online slots. And I think that's still yet to be determined. But I do know personally from my experience, most sports bettors like to gamble, period. They may not be slot players, but they'll play poker, they'll play blackjack. So if you can get the sports bettor in the door who has never played online before and they get used to using an app, and then all of a sudden there's some blackjack on there, you're off and running.
Well, remember, I don't remember what room it was. There used to be a poker site that while you were playing poker, if you folded and weren't in a hand, they had a little blackjack game down at the bottom, and they made a lot of extra money off of that. Do you remember who that was?
I don't, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, here, before you get too excited, webmasters, here's the caveat, is that we're not seeing affiliate marketing in the United States the way we're used to it. It's not the same at all as it's been in Europe and the UK.
Correct. I think the model over here in the U.S. for affiliates right now, from what I understand, is mostly CPA and not rev share. So that's obviously a big difference. And yeah, just like we talked about earlier on the show, the different regulations for each state. You really have to. It's not, it's almost like it's 35 different countries because they all have different regulations and rules, and compliance can be a nightmare. And that can take up a lot of time, as we know.
Well, yes, and I've heard through a source, which I will not name, but off the record, a source told me that some of the problems we're seeing in the UK fall directly back onto the UK Gambling Commission. I know that might surprise a lot of you to find out that maybe they aren't exactly on top of their game, but from a compliance standpoint, I know that you guys bust your butts because one operator will say we need it this way, and another operator says no, we need it this way. And it's difficult to do because there's no consistency. That, my source tells me, goes right back to the UKGC giving different sorts of information. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it doesn't put the affiliate in a very great spot, especially the smaller affiliates, right? Who don't have a compliance department, or they don't have the means or the time to put all that those resources into being compliant, but they almost have to, because if they're not compliant, it's not going to end well. So yeah, it really does put the affiliate in a tough spot.
Yeah, and unfortunately it looks like that's the direction the US is going to go with however many. Right now it may be 35 with sports betting and 6 with iGaming, but apparently it's going to be a cookie cutter type of thing. So who knows what lies ahead, but hey, you got me here bringing you my opinions of what's going on. You got this man here that's watching my shows and regurgitating that as so he doesn't have to do his job very well. And that's great. He makes more money than I do. That's great. I'm not mad about that at all. But hey, okay, we're gonna go drink. But sorry if Michael's watching. We got some more editorial content to get out, and
overall a great show. I mean, this was one of the most crowded shows. I think this is my 7th or 8th. You've probably done more G2Es than me. The line getting in here on day one on Tuesday, I've never seen it like that. It was like an hour wait to get your badge. And I've talked to a lot of vendors today walking by, and they've said it's the best show they've had in years. So.
I would guess there's about 40,000 people here, probably north of 35 for sure.
I think last year was 18,000. Well, of course, we were still dealing with the pandemic a lot more than last year than we were this year. So yeah, but as far as the show itself, a lot of energy, a lot of traffic, a lot of excitement. So that's we actually talked a lot of negative stuff today, but that was a positive.
Yes, and so yes. That was positive. It was a great show, and I always get something great out of it. 40,000 people approximately this year, and only about 25% of those were people that Charlie Sheen has slept with. So
I'll take the over.
Okay, my friend. Always great to see you, and I'll see you guys next week, God willing. If the plane doesn't